Demand is back sooner than we expected. I'm Nicole with eXp Realty, and I wanted to give you a quick market update with some changes that have happened from my last update just last week. So let's dive in. Now let me bring up the Cromford Index to see where we are for the entire Phoenix Valley. Remember, 90 and below is a buyer's market, 90 to 110 is a balanced market, and 110 plus is a seller's market. The market index is sitting at 108.8, which is the highest we have been at in several months. We're inching our way back into a seller's market again. Now, it's not a strong seller's market like we have seen the last few years, but we will definitely see less pressure on price decreases. So if you are waiting for those prices to drop more, the data is not supporting that situation. What's really different in this week's index, especially comparing for the last several weeks, is supply versus demand index. The supply has broken away from nearly being even with the demand index. Supply has now dropped down to 67.9 when both supply and demand were sitting in the 70s range last week. This has caused the market index to inch closer to that seller's market. When supply is low and demand increases, it creates a market favorable to the sellers. Supply and demand are still below normal, with supply at 32% below normal and demand at 26% below normal. So even though some cities are in a seller's market, it doesn't mean overpriced homes will get sold or you will receive offers waiving any or all contingency. This just means there won't be such tremendous pressure on price reductions, and if priced appropriately, you may even get multiple offers. Now let me show you the other breakdown with the 17 largest cities that gauges single-family units. This week, all 17 cities are in the green, and these changes have moved strongly in favor of sellers. We haven't seen this since the beginning of the summer of last year. We now have 7 cities that have crested over 110. They are in a seller's market. Last week, Goodyear was sitting in the red, but now has had a 3% increase heading out of a buyer's market. Leading the charge in these cities are Chandler at 44% increase, Mesa 39% increase, and Avondale at 39%. Gilbert and Queen Creek are still seeing above 10% increase each week. Every city in Maricopa County are seeing a rise in their Cromford Market Index. I want to quote directly from the analysts at Cromford report. They said, remember that the Cromford Market Index is the earliest of leading indicators. It tends to go down before most people expect it to, and it goes back up before people think it should. It can be up to a month before other market indicators follow suit. For example, last year it, meaning the Cromford Index, peaked on February 7th and started to weaken. So if you can remember back last spring, we didn't start feeling the change until April and May, depending on the location here in the Phoenix Valley. But the Cromford report was showing us these changes in February. So I do believe the Cromford report has proven itself to be a reliable leading indicator. Here's a new graph I want to show you this week, showing accepted contracts measured weekly. Our lowest we saw was here at the end of December at 807, but we started creeping up since January 1st and shot up. The second week of January was the strongest week since the middle of August, which happens to be another time when mortgage rates moved a tad lower for a short time. We normally see the demand come back at the end of January, but the numbers are proving there is a pent-up demand coming out. Accepted contracts are substantially higher these past 2 weeks than all of Q4 of 2022. Some well-priced homes are even receiving multiple offers. If this trend in buyer demand continues, it will very likely halt price reductions. This is already being seen in the average price per square foot for active listings, which is showing an upward trend. However, if mortgage rates climb higher again, then CMI numbers will be trending back down. I've recently spoken to a couple of my preferred lenders, and their prediction is we will see mortgage rates back into the mid to low 5%. But it will be a short window for these rates. This means buyers will have even a smaller window to capitalize on this balanced market this spring. Do I think it's a good time to sell? Well, sellers are in a much better scenario right now versus the last 8 to 9 months. The demand is higher than the supply of inventory, which means sellers have less competition. Arizona's seasonal trend always shows sellers jumping back into the market at the end of January, so inventory should start creeping up very soon. If you have any questions on what data looks like for your home or an area of interest, please reach out. I'd be happy to explain how this data affects your scenario. Again, I'm Nicole with eXp Realty. Follow for more market updates and real estate tips.